Good morning. So this is going to be my very first how-to tutorial, and what it is the crossbow for the character Kai off of the PS3 game Heavenly Sword. Now I made this and did a crossplay of her. Found out it was really good. A lot of people were surprised that it actually is also a functioning bow as well. So that made pictures that much more fantastic. I've gotten quite a few people who have wanted to know how to make it, if I was selling it, if I was going to make more to sell. So I decided to make this little tutorial just to help people along, because when I was doing it, I had to look at pictures, and a bunch of pictures of other cosplayers and a bunch of pictures from screen captures of the game to try to get a general idea of the way it looked. And on top of that, I had to figure out on my own how to make it function like this, because I've seen others that it was just flat like this, and I've seen others that it was just stationary like this, and I wanted to go a little bit above and beyond in my own recognition of having a functional one. And so that's what I did. So what we're going to do is, this will be done in several parts, because I don't have all the pieces currently now and the time to just keep going and going and going and going. The other thing you notice, the under here, because I wore it on my shoulder most of the time, and this has been redone several times. I still do not have a clear answer of what is best. This part, obviously, it laps over your shoulder. This is actually a really soft felt fabric, faux fur finish, and then of course like a little rope string to kind of hold on to it as I was wearing it. And of course, this kept coming out the way I had it originally done. It was a magnet set originally. It held up down here, but up here the magnets were not strong enough, and it kept popping off, and so I can't help you here. This will be something later on talked about. Perhaps I can figure out something else along the way. Perhaps you have a better idea, but we'll get to that point when we get to that point. The other function I've noticed in the game is the backing right here. In the game on the character, this part wraps around the butt, essentially, of Kai, and so this would match her butt, and then this would run along her back area here, and she would carry it and do her little walk. And so this part is tailored to me. I'm 5'7", so the length of this part, the shaft that triggers the motion of the bow, that size had to also correlate with this, which also had to be bent a certain way, so it matches. If you follow my instructions that I have put together, this will be your basic bow that you come together with, and it may or may not hug you in such a way that the character hugs. Also, what was probably a little different is this section here. This is just a really cheap eye scope is what this is. You can use this, change it any way you want to. I was running out of time for our Anime Bonsai convention, so I threw something together. I kind of like it, I kind of don't. It's one of those, like, if I were to ever cosplay her again in the future, I would change it. I would change this, and a couple things on the costume outfit that I put together as well. But this will be your own design. Same with this. This is not really her character's image as well. This is something I threw together, and I've noticed that on other people's cosplays, that this and this is always different. It's something that they just put together, that I'm guessing, or maybe they got a better view of her character than what I did. So these parts are completely open in the air of how you're going to do it. So first off, we're going to start with just the basics, and really the basics that we're going to start with is the main shaft piece, and all I've used is just some foam boards, and so to start with the basic form, we're going to start with the first sheet of foam board here, and you'll want for the whole thing, if you're going to do it the way I was planning on doing it, you're going to need two sheets of 20 by 30 foam board, standard foam board, and a ruler, a measuring tape, pen or pencil, and a sharp knife, and of course for this section some hot glue gun. So the first thing that we're going to do here, I'm kind of winging this, so I've kind of just written down some instructions of what I remembered off the top of my head in each different piece. So I have a leveler, also a ruler, mostly for constructions, because I work in construction, so this is kind of easy. I don't use these in my field of work, but it works for me. So anyways, our length, of course, like I said, is 20 by 30. And what you want to do is we want to section these into four sections. So that, of course, is 5 inches here. Of course, the same thing on this side. There you go. Okay. Now obviously this one is not long enough to reach that section, so I will be using my other board to get that. Now you just take a nice sharp knife and follow your pattern. Whoa, wait a minute. But don't push in too deep. You want just basically just to cut that top membrane layer is what you're looking to cut. That way it folds, but it's not detached. And I get this by laying my knife practically straight down rather than pointed straight down. So it's just that blade's edge that is penetrating. So just like that, rather than down and getting that point in there. So there's our box. And like I said, I'm kind of working at this. So at the beginning I did slice that a little bit. So we're going to use it on that edge. So what we are doing now is we are going to measure up 5 inches from the bottom here, and this is going to act as our support walls inside of our main bow chamber. So this one, since we are cutting this off, I will just continue on this way and just slice it with the blade. And then go ahead and separate these as well. Now during this time you want to make sure you have your hot glue gun ready as well. If not, you'll be waiting here for just a few minutes. So then the other thing we're going to do is on one of these ends, go ahead and measure up a mark at 9 inches, because that's going to be where our second support is going to be. Doesn't have to be big, just a quick little mark. So what we're going to do here is take your two of these, and we're going to glue them together. See, I've had my glue gun going for quite a bit, so everything's coming out really hot now. So this is for the front. The 2 pieces here is for the front of the bow, which is not near this piece. So the best way to do this here, glue at the bottom. And get it right in this first section there, making sure your 2 sides fold up this nicely there. Now, of course, working with foam board, not everything is going to be completely straight unless you are taking like absolute precision time with this. And even then, each foam board piece is always a little different. Make sure not to let go in case it's ready. For me, I use a little bit of tape to hold it sometimes. In this case, I will have to kind of do that just because the glue gun has been sitting here for about 20 minutes while I was getting everything ready, and I didn't really realize it. So there's our first piece. So our second piece here, just to close off that box. And again, I'll add just a little bit of tape right there, just to kind of hold it. Now what I want to make sure is your outside is going to look a lot better. It doesn't have as much glue clumps as the inside does. Because we are going to cover the outside up on the next process. But that comes like near the end. The main thing is getting this section and also the secondary section that you've seen that has the trigger point and all the mechanism crap inside. That's our biggest thing. So like I said, you want to find whichever way this is going to fit in a lot easier and still be able to close. So this way is going to be my easiest point, because each board cuts differently. And what we'll do is we will glue 3 sides. And you kind of want to be a little fast with this, or have your gun like really hot so the glue doesn't begin to cool and dry up immediately. And then of course our final piece for here is this back end, just a single back end. Oh, that was better. Slipped out. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to do first here is I'm going to refortify just the 2 edges. So you should kind of look at this. So I'm going to refortify this edge and this edge only, not the bottom plate, because we're going to cut the other side so it opens up just like this. And this will allow us easy access when we start working on the mechanism inside. For a minute. Now the side supports are really important, because they're going to house, you know, all the movement and that, and you'll have these pieces sliding back and forth in this as many times as you're going to be opening and closing this, the bow. So. Not to mention we will be cutting into them, so we're going to want this to be secured up fairly well. So now the next step of this section that we're going to be working on is just cutting the other piece. So this one swings this way. We're going to want to cut this end, cut it on this end here, so that way it swings this way. So it will become like a little S, I guess, what it is. And all you do is just stick your blade in pretty much the straight angle where it's bent. That's going to be your easiest spot. It's the thinnest. And as long as it goes slow, you'll have a nice straight cut. So there's the first part. That part is cut. And now what we need to do is go along. Reminder myself, put a little snigget, little quotation thingies on YouTube, whatever it is. Only glue the 2 sides, not the 3 sides. This will make your job a little easier. Now the thing is, I mean, you just kind of want this a little cleaned up to work with, because when we're all done with the mechanism, we're just going to be gluing this all right back closed, nice and tight. So, and of course we will remove these because the glue is cooled enough. And that's the problem of using tape, even blue tape, which is delicate tape. It will still peel the paper off the 2 sides. Now, if you're like me, who kind of messed up on this piece here, because I went in too deep, you can always use a little tape on the inside to help hold it. So there it is. These are the cheap dollar store dollar foam boards, and I grabbed a bunch of these because my local craft store was out of these ones, and normally you can get these for 99 cents at the craft store, and some of them are like $2 or whatever. It's all the same basic stuff. The only difference is these are both paperback on top of your foam core, and the ones from general craft stores have a more laminate type paper, almost like a poster board. that's laminate onto your foam core. So either one will work. This is what you kind of want to look like in this sense. Remember the two that we stuck at the end. Mark it. F, front, mark it somehow. That way you know how it's supposed to go. And that's it for this one. When I come back with the next one, we will be working on the mechanics inside. For that one, we will be using the craft balsam, those little wood pieces, and for that, I'll have that on the next video of what it is, how many, and we'll go from there. So, thank you for tuning in, joining for the first episode of how to make Kai's crossbow. This is Moonlit Silver Wolf, signing off for now.